Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga Live. My name is Deanna. I'm the director of the Wellness Department at G-Bon in Buffalo, New York. And today I'm going to lead you through a nice yoga session. It'll be around 30 minutes just to get our spine warmed up, our hips open and ready to move throughout our day. And in the long run, it will really help with our mental and physical health. So whether it's reducing anxiety, depression, so we can be actually in the present moment and enjoy every experience and let go of any negativity, thoughts, individuals, anything that may bother you throughout your whole entire life, and focus on what matters, which is you and your health and the present moment. So, and another thing, helps reduce blood pressure. And it also is a nice form of exercise. So in the long run, it really will help manage your weight and give you strength, mobility, and also reduce any pain instead of going to get cortisone shots, although that is necessary at times, but this can actually be a preventative tactic. So let's get started. Make sure you are hydrated, you have some water by you. I know it's been really, really hot outside. Have a yoga mat or some kind of soft surface like a rug or a fitness mat, and that's all you'll need. So, also if you want to play some music, I highly recommend it, on a slow set beat on a low volume so you can still hear my cues. So let's get started in a seated position. You could either come onto your sit bones, sit up really tall, lengthen through the crown of your head all the way to the ceiling, or you can sit on top of your heels, and if you'd like to have more of a stretch in your arch and your toes, your feet, your Achilles, you can tuck your toes beneath you, like so. So I have very, very sore feet because they're also flat, so I'm going to be sitting, tucking my feet underneath. Sitting up tall. And start to close your eyes. Tuning in to your own breath's natural rhythm and the sound. Noticing every inhaled breath. As you take air through your nose, fill up your chest, fill up your belly, sending air to any tense places to open them up. Exhaling through the nose, feeling softening of your muscles, hollowing of your belly and your chest. Start to lengthen each inhale with each exhale so that it's really fluid and each breath almost moves like the wind or like the waves. Letting go of any distractions, unnecessary thoughts, to-do lists, plans. Situations that may have occurred before class and situations that may await for you after class. Just letting those things go and giving the time for yourself with you here on your mat and nothing else. Really softening your facial muscles, breathing space between your forehead, relaxing your eyes. Really filling up. Try not to make any forceful breath, paying attention and making mindful inhales and exhales. And take this moment to make any dedications or intentions for your practice that'll help bring you to that present moment, keep you in check. It could be a person, it could be a place, it could be a thing, it could be a saying, a quote. I like telling myself positive quotes. And we'll take a cleansing breath together. We're going to first take a deep breath in through your nose, filling up as deep as you can, through your nose, through your chest, as deep as you can. Hold for a couple seconds. Wide open mouth, exhale it out. That's a cleansing breath, releases heat. And a positive quote I have for you guys today is, don't let anybody dull your shine, and always shine brightly. No matter what thing may cross your path that may not resonate with you, continue to shine. So return to your normal breaths in and out through the nose. Ujjayi breaths, also called the victory breath or the breath of fire, serves to build heat in the body, keeps your muscles warm, and helps build concentration with every pose. So use that within your practice. Inhales through the nose with a slight constriction on the back of the throat, sounding like a wave, or as if you're fogging up a mirror with your mouth closed. It can be audible or silent. So start to flutter your eyes open, noticing the surroundings. Inhale your arms up overhead, reaching your fingertips to the ceiling, bringing your palms together with your eye gaze all the way to the ceiling. And on an exhale, release your arms down, extending your arms out your sides. And one more, inhale your arms all the way up, eye gaze to the ceiling, right at your fingertips as your palms come together. And releasing your arms back down. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder to stretch the neck on the left side. Keeping your shoulders down and away from the ears. You could extend your left arm out by your side. And you could do some wrist circles or play around with your fingers. You can wiggle them. And I always say how you can feel how each muscle's interconnected all the way from your wrist, your fingers, all the way to the side of your neck. Come back to center and reach your left ear to your left shoulder. Extend your right arm. You could do some wrist circles here. Feeling the stretch in the right side of the neck. Tilt your head back to center. Bring your eye gaze down at the floor, your chin to your chest, and feel the flexion in the back of your neck. Bring your eye gaze back to center and slowly start to bring your eye gaze towards the ceiling, keeping length in the back of your neck and avoiding any crunching of the neck. So we want to keep it lengthened and long, slightly splaying out the chest. And bring your eye gaze back to center. Go ahead and do some neck circles in one direction, maybe a few times to the right. And reversing the direction over to the left. Remembering to lengthen the crown of your head as you're looking up at the ceiling. Bring your eye gaze back to center. Inhale your arms up overhead. And on an exhale, send your left arm all the way to the right, aiming to bring that left shoulder to the back wall. Your eye gaze can come up towards the ceiling, really opening your chest to the front of the room. Your right hand will be on the mat, or if you want more of a lateral flexion, you can bend the elbow a little bit to stretch a little bit deeper. Remembering to really stretch through the fingertips and up and out of the waist, and avoiding dumping in the right hip. Inhale, both arms back to center. Exhale, bring your left hand down on the mat and reach your right arm all the way up and over to the left side of the room. Eye gaze up at the ceiling and reach your right shoulder to the back wall behind you. Keeping that chest open to the front of the room, breathing length into both sides of the torso. Reaching up and through the fingertips. And come back up to center, bring your palms together, look at your fingers. And bring your hands to heart center in prayer. Wonderful. Bring your hands down on the mat and your knees down on the mat for tabletop position, stacking your shoulders over your wrists and your hips right over your knees. Find a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine. We'll work into some cow-cats to work into the spine. Inhale, open your chest to the front of the room, reach your tailbone up towards the sky, lower your belly. Exhale, press the earth away from you, right into the fingertips, bring your chin to your chest, reach that tailbone down, squeeze that belly Inhale, open your heart space to the front of the room, reach your tailbone up, lower that belly. Exhale, round the spine, bring your chin to your chest and bring your eye gaze at your navel as you really press into those fingertips, opening the backside body. Go at your own pace now, whether it's one breath to one movement, going as fast or as slow as you need, really listening to what your body needs throughout the duration of your practice. Something doesn't ever feel right, you can always come out of it and come into child's pose or downward facing dog. And we'll go into child's pose right now. Bring your big toes together to touch. Open your knees out wide. Sit your glutes on the top of your heels and extend your arms out in front of you. Bring your head right on the mat and let your hips really glue to the tops of your heels. Let your belly nestle on top of your thighs, feeling the stretch of your hip flexors. You can make this pose very active by really pressing in through the fingertips and feeling your arm muscles activate. Or you can find a more restorative pose in child's pose by really relaxing your muscles down, letting your arms feel heavy and loose. Whatever speaks to you today. And in child's pose, we'll thread the needle. So all you need to do is take your right hand and send it over to the left side of the room, placing your right shoulder down on the mat. Your left hand could be by your face, out in front of you, or wrap it around your backside body for a bind, placing your left fingers in the right hip crease. Keeping your glutes sealed to the heels. Bringing that right palm up towards the ceiling. Take one more inhale. And on your exhale, come back to center. Take your right arm right out. And switch arms. Send the left arm through the space between your right wrist and your right knee, placing your left shoulder down on the mat with your palm facing up. And your left shoulder down on the mat. Feeling the nice deep shoulder opening. And you can even play around with the opening of your shoulder by energetically pulling your shoulder blade towards the left wall. And you'll feel more of a stretch. Always remembering to connect each breath with each feeling and each movement, every sensation. Now you can take that left arm out, come back into tabletop, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Tuck your toes beneath you. And on an exhale, extend the legs and lift your hips up and back to your first downward facing dog. Your feet should be hip width distance apart, and your hands should be around shoulder width distance apart. Aim to keep your heels down and glued onto the mat. If your hamstrings are tight and you have lower back sensation, you can bend the knees deeply. Press away from your hands and let your belly really fall onto your thighs. And as time goes by, you can start work to straighten the legs, making yourself into an inverted V. Wrap your triceps down as if you're screwing the top of a jar on top of your mat. The right hand will turn to the right, the left hand will turn to the left energetically. So we're not actually moving our hand, we're just pressing into the mat and making the motion. And you'll see your triceps move back and down. Hollow that belly and release your head and neck. Aim to not look in any direction because that will cause some neck strain. So really aim to let your head and neck hang. Now pedal out the heels. This is your first downward facing dog. So you can work into the feet or work into the hips. Rock your hips side to side. You can lift one heel, lift the other heel, stretching the arch of the feet, the Achilles, the calves.
point your heels to the sky and take baby steps all the way to your hands. Just keep your legs straight, your belly tight. As you get closer to your hands, separate your feet hip-width distance apart or wider for ragdoll. Bend your knees deeply, grasp either elbows with your hands, and let your head and neck hang heavy. Let your belly really fall on top of your thighs to fully release your spine, head, and neck. That keeps us upright all day. You can promote movement by rocking side to side or find stillness. Feel free to include a heart opener by interlacing your fingers behind your back, bringing your palms together, extending your arms behind you, and bringing your arms to the ceiling and then the wall in front of you. Aiming to really pull your palms together and up to keep your shoulders on the back body. Release your hands down at your side. Heel toe your feet together. Ground through all four corners of your feet. Stabilize through the bottom half of your body, from your legs all the way to your feet. And slowly round up one vertebrae at a time, squeezing your leg muscles together, letting your arms really hang down, stacking each vertebra on top of each other until you rise fully. Inhale your arms up overhead, eye gaze at your fingertips. And on an exhale, send your hips forward, bend your elbows down at your sides at goalpost arms, look like so. Your triceps are parallel to the mat. Fingers spread open wide, tailbone reaches down, glutes squeeze together, legs squeeze together, abs pull in tight, and bring your eye gaze to the ceiling and the wall behind you, breathing length in the back of the neck for a mini back bend and heart opener. Sending your elbows up towards the ceiling as well. One more inhale. And exhale, come back to center. Inhale the arms up overhead. Bring your eye gaze to your fingertips, bring the palms together, and bring your hands to heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands at heart center. We'll work into our sun A's. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. And on an exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands to heart center, flat spine. Lead with the chest on the way down as you hinge at the hips. Release your hands by your side, aiming to bring your nose to your knees. You could have a slight bend in your knees and letting your head and neck hang heavy. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins for your halfway lift. Coming up halfway, hands are right below the knee. Lengthen your spine forward as well as your neck. Eye gaze right down. Exhale, plant your hands down and step into your downward facing dog or move through your flow. If you're more advanced, you would step into plank, lower down into chaturanga, and come up to upward facing dog, and then meeting us in downward facing dog. But for today's purposes, it's beginner, so we're just gonna move into our downward facing dog. And if any time you're feeling a little sore or you need to take a rest, stay in downward facing dog or child's pose, which I already introduced to us today. Inhale, lift your heels. Keep your legs straight, bend your knees. Eye gaze looks right between the hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat, in between your hands, feet together. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Bring weight into your toes. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips, belly on top of the thighs. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the ceiling, eye gaze follows. And we're gonna go through one more sun A. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Flat spine on the way down. Releasing your hands by your feet. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Really lengthen your neck forward. Exhale, plant your hands down. Step into your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms come all the way up. Don't bring your hands together, leave them apart. Pinkies face in for chair pose, the star to sun B. Exhale, sit your hips down and back for chair pose. Reach your tailbone down to the earth. We don't want any curvature in our back, so really send that tailbone down. Bring your belly up and in, chest is slightly out, pinkies face in towards each other to activate the arm muscles. Sit a little bit deeper, and as you do so, open your chest a little bit more. Biceps are right at the ears. Exhale, forward fold. Straighten just a little bit in the legs. Hinge at the hips all the way down with a flat spine. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down, step into your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Flex your right toes towards your face and send that heel up towards the ceiling. On an exhale, warrior one. Hug your right knee into your chest in plank pose. Really round that spine. Puff up the space in between your shoulder blades when you're in plank. And step your foot right in between your hands for warrior one. Stacking your right knee over your right ankle, straightening your left leg, then planting that left heel down. Keep that right knee bent. You may have to step the left foot out slightly so your feet are staggered. And inhale your arms up overhead. In warrior one, we really want to step up, square our hips to the front of the room, whoop, by sending our right hip point back and our left hip point forward. So these are closed hips. Whereas warrior two, which we'll introduce, is open hips. So we really want to stay with our right toes facing forward and our left toes at the top left corner of our mat. Our feet shouldn't be in one line, they should be staggered, and really send that right hip back, left hip point forward. And you can even take your hands at your hips and do it yourself. Inhale your arms up overhead. Breathe up and out of the waist. Exhale, plant your hands down to frame the right foot and step into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Flex those toes towards your shin and aim that heel towards the ceiling. And really straighten that left leg as if you're going to make a footprint on the back wall. And on your exhale, we'll come into warrior one. Hug that left knee into your chest, round the spine, and step your foot in between your hands. Left knee over left ankle, keep that bent, straighten the right leg, plant that right heel down. Angle the right toes at the top right corner of your mat, and inhale your arms up overhead. Keep those hips closed and squared, and this time sending that left hip point back and the right hip point forward. Connecting to your breath. Inhale up and out of the waist. Exhale, plant your hands down and frame the left foot. Step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg back up. Flex the toes towards your face. And on an exhale, send your right knee to your chest. We'll come back into warrior one. Step your foot in between your hands. Straighten that left foot. Inhale your arms up overhead. Now we'll work into warrior two. Inhale up and out of the waist. Exhale, peel open your arms to the left side of the room. Now we'll step our foot a little bit more back, some wider stance, and we're gonna have the edge of our left foot be in the same line as the back edge of the mat so that our feet are parallel. If we draw a line at our right heel, it should intersect our left arch. We wanna keep our hip point down. So we don't wanna keep that hip up. We really wanna send it down so that our shoulders stack right over the wrists. Really spread our arms in opposite and equal directions. And we'll bring your eye gaze towards your right fingertips. And you want to keep that tailbone down. And look ahead at your knee. If you don't see your big toe, send your right knee more back towards the wall behind you. Flip the front palm, reach the right arm all the way up and back for peaceful warrior or reverse warrior. You could send your left hand behind the left leg, placing it very gently with no weight.
reaching those fingertips up towards the ceiling. So we're not dumping in either way of the torso. On your exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the right foot and step into your downward facing dog. We'll repeat on the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up, straighten that leg, flex the foot towards your face. And on an exhale, warrior one. Send your left knee in towards your chest, puff up the space in between your shoulder blades as you press the earth away from you. Step your foot in between your hands. Plant that right foot, straighten the right leg, while the left knee is bent over that left ankle. Inhale your arms up overhead for your warrior one. Breathe up and out of the waist, keep those hips squared and closed. And on an exhale, peel open to the right, arms spread out in opposite and equal directions. Heel, your edge of your back right foot is parallel to the edge of the mat. Your left heel should intersect your right arch. Keep that hip point down, belly up and in, lengthen through the crown of your head, and even energetically squeeze your heels together to activate your leg muscles. IVs right at your fingertips to the left. Inhale, your palm up and back. Peaceful warrior, stretching through the left side of the body, keeping that knee still bent over that left ankle. We tend to lift our hip open, straighten our leg, when we do peaceful warrior, so keep that knee over that left ankle. And on your next exhale, cartwheel the hands down to frame the left foot and step into your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms come all the way up, tailbone reaches down, squeezing those glutes, eye gaze at your fingertips, and meet at heart center. We'll work into one quick standing balance today. We'll work into our one-legged Tadasana, but this time keeping our right knee at a 90-degree angle, and I'll show you how. So really ground through your feet, lift all 10 toes up first, then slowly lower your toes down to find your center. Belly lifts up and in, chest is slightly out, and shoulders are down and away from the ears. You can even roll your shoulders back and away, keeping those shoulders down, your palms facing forward. Lift through the crown all the way to the ceiling. Your chin is parallel to the floor. And on an inhale, lift your right knee up so that it's in the same line as your hip. Flex the right toes towards your face. Really ground through the left leg. Bring that belly up and in. The more you tighten, the more you find one gaze of focus, and the more you feel as if you're lifting like a strings attached to your head, the more you'll be able to focus. Really try and keep both hips in one line. So really ground through that left leg and squeeze the left glute. And then when you're more advanced, we would take our left hand, bring it on the outside of your right thigh, and reach our right hand back, and our eye gaze would follow. And this is if you're advanced and want to try something new. You may wobble, you may fall out of it. All you have to do is just get back up. And inhale your arms all the way up, releasing your right foot down. Very nice. Switching your leg. Inhale, lift the left knee up in line with your hip. Flex the left toes towards your face. Belly up and in, lengthen through the crown of your head. Really ground that right leg strong. You'll feel your hamstrings and glute on fire. You want to try and keep our hips in one line, so don't hike up that left hip. Keep it down. And when you think you're ready, you can stay here or grab your right hand and place it on the outside of your left thigh and reach your left arm to the back wall for a twist. With your chin in line with your shoulder. Really lengthen through the crown and tighten your abs. Find one gaze of focus. Inhale your arms back to center. Release your feet down together. Very good. All right, inhale your arms up overhead. And exhale, forward fold, flat spine on the way down.
Inhale, hands to shins. Come up halfway for your halfway lift. Plant your hands down and lower your knees down. Come onto your sit bones. Extend your legs out in front of you. Flex the toes towards the face. Inhale up and out of the waist with your arms really reaching up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale with a flat spine, reach towards your feet or grab a hold of the tops of your shins, keeping a flat spine with your shoulders down. And go only as far as it is accessible to you. Don't ever force yourself into any pose. It's our own practice. Inhale your arms back up. Extend them out in front of you so that your arms are parallel with the mat. And on an exhale, squeeze your abdominals and slightly round as you bring your whole entire spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, down onto the mat, with your head coming down last. And once you're fully down on the mat, inhale your arms up overhead for a full body stretch, stretching from your fingertips to the tips of your toes. And exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Rock side to side. And come into a happy baby. Separate your knees out wide, grab a hold of the outside or the inside of your feet. Pressing your feet into your hands, hands to your feet. If that's not accessible to you, you can grab just the top of the shins. The aim is to keep your spine fully on the mat. So try not to lift your tailbone up. That's why we should really press into our hands and our hands into our feet for some compression. You can rock side to side, massage the spine a little bit more. You can work into the hamstrings. You can bend the right knee and then extend the left leg, and vice versa. Or if you become more flexible and you're a little bit more advanced, you can go ahead and straighten both of them. Here's some cracks and everything like that, but it's good. We're lubricating the joints, getting ourselves mobile. And release our legs down. Arms come out wide, feet can come out wide. Take as much or as little space as you'd like. You can even place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly to really feel intuitive to yourself with your breath and your body's movement, with your belly and your chest. And really connecting every single inhale and exhale with the sensation that arrives with your chest, with your belly. Sending air to places that are open or loose or actually tense, you know? So really finding stillness, slowing down our breath, relaxing the space in between our eyebrows, releasing tension in our jaw, and slightly parting the mouth and letting the tongue float in the hollow of your mouth. We'll take one more cleansing breath together. Take a deep inhale through the nose, the deepest inhale of the day. Fill up. Hold at the top. Wide open mouth, exhale it out. Take the next 2 minutes to enjoy your Savasana or corpse pose, and where you can fully surrender your mind and your body. And find deep relaxation. And when we come to an end, I'll lead you out. Savasana.
Start to bring movement back into the body. Wiggle toes, wiggle fingers. Rock your head side to side. Reach your arms all the way overhead on an inhale for a full body stretch. And on an exhale, hug your knees tight into your chest. Come into a tight little ball, grasping onto either elbows. And rolling over to one side, still in this nice tight hug, letting your curves hit the earth. And when you're ready, come up to a comfortable seat. Sitting up tall, bringing your palms together to touch at heart center, and bow down. Taking this moment to give support, light, and love to all our dedications and intentions that we made for our practice today. Thank you all for joining me today. It was an honor and a pleasure to guide you through your own yoga journey. And just remember, when things get a little crazy, things get tough, pay attention to your own breath's natural rhythm and sound. And just remember your true values. And that's what's most important. Namaste. Thank you everybody for joining me today. I can't wait to see you next time. And I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.